All right, let's call this regular council meeting to order. Monday, November 17th, 2025, 5:01 p.m. With request to turn your cell phones off or turn them down. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Edelman.
Here.
Commissioner Heberlein.
Here.
Commissioner Morris.
Here.
Commissioner Prentice.
Here.
Here, stand and take your hats off. Pledge allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this evening, and Lord, with the chaoticness of the world these days, we would just ask for your peace here in South Beloit, that you would just cover this city with your peace, Lord. We'd also ask for your wisdom and all the issues that are being discussed tonight, as well as the budget process as we prepare for next year. So we just seek your wisdom in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Don. All right, we'll get approval of the agenda. Get a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Public comment. Anybody? Anybody? Okay.
Owen there is here for an item I thought we were going to move up, Tracy.
What are we going to move up?
They have to just amend the agenda. They just approved the agenda. Oh. Do we want them to move that item up? Mayor, I'm sorry. I thought that we had relayed this to you and we didn't. There's an
Nobody
item
told me about it.
Yeah, that's all. I'm apologizing.
Okay.
So there's an item on the agenda that has to do with our renewal, and we would like to move that up so that Costanza can present on our renewal options. Looks like item I.
Ooh.
Could we amend the agenda to move item I?
Okay, get a motion to amend the agenda to move item I up to below approval of the minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I get approval. Get a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we move that up right below approval of the minutes. Get a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting held on November 3rd, 2025. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, we moved item I up from new business, discuss approve resolution 6649, improvement city risk management and workers' compensation insurance policies. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Whatever.
I guess I'll hand over to Owen at this point prior to the meeting.
The stuff spreadsheet?
Nope, I have not done that. I think they're in their packet.
We got one in the package right here. There.
Sorry, Owen, you need a piece of paper?
I got all this stuff. Here.
You got one there. Oh, you do the packet. Page 3 is right.
Yeah, take the whole thing.
Thank you for letting me come here tonight. I'm Owen Costanza from Flanders Insurance. We represent Illinois County Risk Managers and Illinois Public Risk Fund. Illinois County Risk Managers is your package policy, which is your general liability and property coverage. Illinois Public Risk Fund is your workers' comp. So you have a spreadsheet in here. That's in here, right?
I think on the back was something.
Those rolling.
Here we go. So last year when we did your renewal, they had quoted out a full term, but prorated it because your current policy for mutual had to do it on 1-1. So it was $280,000 was the renewal package, but it was prorated down to $255 because you only paid for 11 months instead of 12. So now we're renewing a 12-1 and we're paying for a full year. Now since then, we have been out here, the company's been out here a couple times to inspect, and speaking with the staff, they could not remember when the last time insurance company come out and actually looked at all of the buildings and did replacement costs. So part of the increase with of some of that salary, so rather than get hit with a large audit, we estimated that out, which we will audit that at the end. But a large factor of that increase is your work comp mod went from 0.87 to 1.09. Large increase. So what is a work comp modification factor? So the NCCI, which monitors work comp across the country, it's a very complex formula, but nuts and bolts of it is they look at 5 years, they look at your premium, they look at your losses, and then they factor in what's called a work comp mod. You can get anywhere from a 0.6 mod, which is 40% off of a 100% regular book rate. So for $100, call it $100 an hour rate, if your losses are good, you can get a 40% discount. You could also get a 100% debit based on your losses. So the losses that have been calculated in, which you had some open claims prior to this year that have settled and how they've been brought, it increased your work comp mod, which created an increase on that.
How
Loss
long-
control's been here.
How long does it take that to go back down?
As the losses drop off, they recalculate it every year.
Every year they
So they take your premium payment, they look at your losses, and NCCI does that calculation, and hopefully we'll trend it back down. So you had a loss in there that settled up, that caused that huge jump. So then we should just start to see that fall off as the years go forward.
Do we have a lot of claims, or is it big claims, or what?
It was a couple of claims that were still open that had just been closed. So the claims have been really good, and you guys take advantage of all the grants that you get with them. And they've got all kinds of safety videos. I think they've come out here and done some safety videos with your fire and rescue. So we have all those available. You get a discount on that. Then you get a grant money back. I don't call. Did you get that number yet?
9,000.
So they give you back.
1,900 per department, yeah.
So they give you a grant back. The company does to use in the fire rescue police. But yeah, that always, it's a running number. So I mean, it's just depends. It's hard to calculate, but as long as we're mitigating risk and doing it.
I was just hoping you weren't going to say it was locked in for 5 years.
It is not. It's not. So that last year will trail off. This year will get added into it, and then they'll recomputate that. It's. I took a class a long time ago, 20 years ago, and it wasn't really worth me remembering because the computers do it now.
Really, I wanted Owen to come and present just in case there was any questions. Usually we do see a small increase, but because of those two major factors, paying for 12-month period instead of 11, and then also the liability on all the different facilities and machines and equipment that we have. But those valuations, I just wanted to make sure that, as we see a $65,000, difference in the renewal numbers, that the board had a chance to ask any questions if there was any. But we had another spreadsheet. I apologize, that's not in your packet here. I will send this out, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. This does not include our cyber policy. That's a January 1 renewal, and it will be at a December meeting.
So why were we on an 11-month before?
Your prior policy, Liberty Mutual, was 1-1-1-1-1. There's two public risk pools in the state of Illinois. One is Illinois Municipal League, the other one is Illinois County's Risk Management. They run 12-1 to 12-1. So when we compare them, we made sure we compared 12 months to 12 months, which got prorated in that. The differences between IML and this one, a big factor of that is the assessment charge of the pool. So a work comp pool is all of us here, we all throw in $100, and if there's not enough money in it, then the management of that pool then goes back and assesses everybody else. So with Illinois County's risk manager, they've got protection in there with reinsurance, but they don't go back and ask the members for more money if they didn't put the risk funds in properly. So that's the big difference between the two. Illinois County Risk Management has people that come out, see you, they're going to risk parties and all that stuff. And then it's always great when the company came out and looked at the property.
Sure.
At the time of loss, after the total loss, they said, well, it's $10 million to rebuild, and we only insured it for $5 million. Well, you were just here. It's what you said it was. So it wasn't me, it wasn't the customer. I always like it when the companies go out and look at those.
It also had a lot to do with the treatment plant. I don't know what our last treatment plant was worth, but it's nothing near what this one's worth. Just night and day.
All Roxanne has a question.
Yeah, I just had a question for Sonia, and I'm not sure if this is one of the resolutions our office prepared or not. I'm assuming it probably was, but I'm wondering if maybe the amount of the resolution needs to be changed compared to what's in the packet. As I understand, the total annual premium is $314,977. For some reason in the resolution, it's reading $403,668.
Maybe they threw the word comp with that too.
Oh, so that 314, just so then the council is aware, that's just all of the other,
Property casualty.
yes.
And then it must, I don't know if that fits in the resolution. That's what you got.
Yeah,
I asked for them.
yeah, you added them up. Okay, you prepared the resolution. Okay, so that's the total for the two different amounts.
Yeah, one's the comp, one's after. Must be provided in the resolution.
Got it. Yes, because the comp is the 88,691. Okay, so yeah, just wanted to make sure that was clear for the record. Thank you.
You know, it always scares me when somebody says, you know, it comes up with real complicated, we come up with this number. You know, that always gets me.
The modification part, I mean, book rates I
I
can do
know.
very easily, but when they start factoring losses and they start carrying those over, it's a one whole page formula sheet. I used to do those. Been doing this 33 years.
A lot longer than I've been doing this. Anybody else? I think we're okay here.
All right, that one's available if anybody
Yeah. Thank you. I think we have all the information, so Tracy, please.
Commissioner Aiello-Mann?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for coming and explaining that to us. All right. Okay, we're going back to, we did the approval of minutes. We go back to report of officers. Approval for the claims to be paid November 1st through 14th, 2025 for the amount of?
$313,189.12. Motion.
Tracy, please.
Commissioner Aiello-Mann?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington? Yes. Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, attorney's report.
No report this evening.
No report. Okay, we'll go down to the reports. Let's, before we go into I want the commissioners to give you a little report of what they got going on first, for each commission. You want to start, Brian? You want to give us a little report of how your department's doing?
Doing a lot of sweeping and getting a lot of potholes fixed. Getting ready for putting all the lights up for
Christmas.
Christmas and stuff.
You gonna have anything parked this year? Or you guys, I don't know, I just asking.
Most of it goes up on the boulevard and then at the complex for the tree lighting and stuff.
All right, thank you. Brian?
I have no report at this time.
Kenny?
Illinois chiefs have completed our list for our fire chief candidates. We'll be discussing that tonight in the executive session.
Courtney?
My report's pretty much the same as when I talked about, we had finished the trunk or treat, so Parks and Rec will be reconvening after the first of the year to start talking about next year.
All right, thank you. I have no report, I guess. Sonia, you can take over for your report.
I don't have much to report tonight, Mayor. We are, like we have been weekly, touching the budget like crazy. I will continue to say publicly that I'm just really proud of the way that our municipality conducts budget season. Every single department head, every single commissioner, everyone on this team contributes and pours into this, and we literally review every single expense from the previous year and if there needs to be adjustments in our budget. And I think that level of oversight and detail is just not something that you find everywhere anymore, so I will continue to tote on the fact that we have a really great budget process with Don at the helm. So it is a pleasure to navigate our city's finances with this guy. But other than that, that's what I've been up to. The regular meetings, I completed our monthly report and put that in your boxes. And tonight Jeff is gonna provide a wastewater.
Why don't you give a little report on going up, seeing Ross play basketball, one of South Beloit's alumni?
Yeah, so my family and I took a trip on Friday to go watch our, what I will call All-American. I know that doesn't go down in the books that way, but the young man, Ross Robertson, who broke all kinds of IHSA records, rebounding and scoring. He's in his first year at Northern Michigan. Kind of has a soft spot in our family's hearts because Andrew went to Northern Michigan as well. So while he was in the Dells, we took full advantage and took a little road trip to go watch Ross play. He got to play about 8-10 minutes in that game, so pretty good for a freshman. He's playing among men now, and you can tell that. So he's going to settle in just fine, but he is in a whole different league. But it was really nice to go see him. And
Thank you.
just the way that kid steps off the court after a win, and he didn't play great. He was hard on himself, but he hugs his grandma, and his parents are there, and it's just really cute to watch a kid like that grow up, make himself look right.
Good report.
Thanks, man.
Okay, what's next? Jeff,
I drew the short straw.
all right.
Flow's been pretty consistent. Since the treatment plant started up, we've had trouble with the flock mixer for the sludge press. They were out this summer. They worked on it 5 straight days. It's been working flawlessly since. Part of what we did is we aided them in rerunning new wire, and that may have been the culprit. We don't know, but we changed a lot of things with Huber's assistance, and it seems to be working great, which it never lasted this long ever before. Also, we spent a lot of time with the fine screens. They're working flawlessly. I think we finished them up in the spring, so he's had one report, but we are not having any more problems with them. So as these things that we've had difficulties with, the contractors are getting out, helping us get them straightened around, and we're moving forward and not seeing those problems continue. We also finished up our quality assurance testing. We had one parameter that we did not pass and had to do retesting on, and oddly enough was pH, one of our simplest ones. But when we would look to see when was the last time I ordered or purchased a pH probe, it was 2.5 years ago. Those should be replaced between 6 months and a year. We didn't have any indication it was bad, and we just barely missed our test results because they give you the range to work in. But it failed because of that. That's why we have retesting, and seems to be accurate now. We'll just make sure we're replacing it every year now. Won't have that problem again. We've gotten 3 of our airflow meters that we had 4 of them out. We're still waiting on one, but they control the airflow to different parts of the plant, and we've got them in and working, and things are working much better as far as air. By controlling the air through those airflow meters helps us save on electricity. So hopefully later this fall or winter we'll see hoping for a significant change in the electric bill, but we'll see. Phosphorus over the summer months when the water temperature at the treatment plant gets the hottest. We have found that once it gets over about 65, 68 degrees in the treatment plant, we start struggling with phosphorus control. Phosphorus is one of those items, it's a micronutrient that we are trying to control to end up in the Rock River. We have a permit limit on that. We did not exceed the permit limit for any one month, but we did have to add chemical additions last year as well. As it gets to be a little bit more known, and I talked to a few more operators that have experiences with it, seems like everybody's having the same experience, but they hadn't narrowed it down to water temperature. Now, once we got below 65, we saw improvement. We are now below 63 in the tanks, working towards 60, and we are almost have the chemical addition turned off completely. So the plant returns back once we get the water cooler. There's not much we can do to change the temperature of water. That's just kind of what it's going to be. And I suspect that because it's a newer process for phosphorus treatment, that a lot of operators are going to struggle through those months, as I've met in discussions with. MPDS permit is looking like we're getting really close to getting that in. We turned in the permit in March. March will be 2 years. So our permit was been expired since September of 24, which is somewhat common to take a while for the EPA to get you something. This is a little bit longer than usual, but we are just expected to operate off the old permit until we have the new one. And we finally have some answers that they were looking for some answers to some questions. I'm not sure why it took so long to get those questions out. But it seemed like we're headed in the right direction. As well as our sludge permit, which has been on hold because they wanted some questions answered. We've answered those questions, and the real question was I'm wanting to get a new vendor and allow them to find the land that we want to apply to for our Class B sludge. They wanted us to have the land found, and I said, well, that doesn't mean that we'll be able to use it, because if the farmer doesn't like the contractor, that creates a problem. So initially we permitted, not that we'll be taking it to my farm, but I used my farm number to permit it, to grease the wheels a little bit. And then once they heard, hey, we need you to approve the permit so then we can find the land through the contractor and get it lined up to be applied. So that's kind of where we're at. It sounds like that's a sufficient answer for them now on that process as well. We haven't had any backups in the sewer system that we've been made aware of. Fiber companies have been installing a ton of locates. We're putting in a lot of fiber on the south side, and it just eats up time, a lot of time doing those locates. We have some key areas that we have found over the 14 years I've been here that we pick and choose, but usually before Thanksgiving, so that we're not out Thanksgiving or Christmas cleaning sewer lines. It seems to be spots where stuff sets up, oil and grease from the turkeys and that get flushed down. Sometimes we'll have backup, so we go out and we'll hit those places later this week or first part of next week, so they're ready to go, and we won't be in through the holidays for that kind of an emergency, because that only happens in the dark at the worst opportune time. And not only for us, but for the residents as well. So since we know those spots, we'll try to make sure they're taken care of. One of the things I did miss on the treatment plant, had 2 guys test again at the end of September. One of them passed his Class 3, the other one just missed his Class 2. I will tell you the Class 2, as I've gotten to know a lot of people, I get a lot of ins and learn a lot more inside knowledge. The pass rate for the Class 2 right now is about 15%. So 15% of all the Class 2 tests taken in the state of Illinois will be passing tests. So he'll get there. He's really, really close. It's just, answering the right questions the right way. It's a 100 question test. Get 3 hours. Just need to find a couple more that he knows the answers to. That's pretty much most of my report. There's some other little tidbits in here if you care to read. If you have any questions, please ask me now or later, whichever works best for you.
Anybody?
Questions? Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, moving on to new business again. Discuss approve ordinance 2879, approving the pre-annexation agreement regarding the property commonly known as 4829 Prairie Hill Road, South Beloit, Illinois, Winnebago County. PIN number 0417200011 is authorized by mayor to execute the same. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Okay, any more discussion on this, or just we talked about it? This is a Lovejoy property again.
I could just add, Mayor, that again, this is right in that pocket of, commercial and industrial in that area that we would really like to get connected. So getting them into city limits is a really good first step.
I know that's been, even when Ted was here, that we were trying to get across that Prairie Hill Road. And we'll get it, and we'll get that'll help out our sewer and everything else if we do get this. So this is a major step. Okay, anybody else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Aiken?
Yes.
Mayor Fisher?
Yes, discuss approve ordinance 2880, approving amendment to zone the property at 4829 Prairie Hill Road, South Beloit, Illinois, from one family residential zoning district to urban transitional zoning district. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
So this one is, this is also for Jack's Tire. As the property gets annexed, it always comes in R1, single-family residential. As we were reading the ordinance, it is best suited at this time for urban transitional because of the uses on the property to incorporate everything. Once the property is fully annexed into the city, the zoning may change at that time, but for a pre-annexation, it recommends urban transitional.
I see the positive recommendation by the zoning board. Anybody else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Morris? Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Amon?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve ordinance 2881, approving the variance in the required setback, side yard setback from 15 feet to nothing, to 0, for the property commonly known as 4829 Prairie Hill Road, South Beloit, Illinois, Winnebago County, PIN number 0417200011. Motion, please.
Second.
So this is also for Jack's, there's one more after this, but this is for the side yard setback from 15 feet. They're required 15 feet down to a 0 yard setback. When this property was, I'm not sure how it was configured this way or whenever it was figured this way, but it's right on the property line. So we wanted to make sure to recognize that in the zoning as well.
I see it's not a normal shaped property.
It's not a normal shape.
It's like Nevada, but they had a couple more notches on the side, so it's,
I think it's more like a triangle, so
yeah,
it's definitely not normal.
it's not normal. Anybody else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Amon?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve ordinance 2882, approving the special use permit to allow for auto-related uses in the urban transitional zoning district, 4829 Prairie Hill Road, South Beloit, Illinois. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
So this is also for Jack's, this is the last one pertaining to this property. Any automobile use designation in the new zoning code requires a special use permit, so that's what this
And
is.
that's his business. So he needs this.
Correct.
Anybody else? Okay, Tracy, please.
Commissioner Amon?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve 2883, limiting the number of tobacco licenses issued by the city. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Sonia, you want this?
So, quick question, so use the paper one that was,
Yes,
Yeah.
please. There was an error in the one that was in the packets. We just neglected to catch the other references to the word two,
This is a little
or
bit
six,
of
I'm sorry, to the word six.
this is a little bit of a confusing matter, so Tracy, do you want to try to explain?
Sure. We have currently the Class B license, we have the Class A tobacco and the Class B. The A is more for, the 50% sales have to be in anything other than tobacco. So, like Dollar General, the gas stations, we're gonna have more sales in those other items than they will in the tobacco. The Class B is strictly more tobacco, 50% more. And we have, formerly, we had probably 6 tobacco shops. And so now we only have 2, and we're looking to lower the number
From 2 to what?
From
from
6 to 2.
6 to 2.
6 to 2, okay, yeah. But nobody's losing their license.
No, we had one, we did the audit on the one that we thought was more tobacco sales. They have to switch to the B from the A,
Okay.
but that takes care of them too.
One thing that I would note in the paper copy that was handed out, and again, this is just for Muni Code purposes, but we'll need to add in where 6 used to be in subparagraph C with a line through it, and then the word 2 in the 1, 2. The third sentence and then the fourth sentence will have to be bolded and highlighted, which is what I have on this version here in the drive that Laura
Yeah.
inked up.
Yeah.
And so I'll send that to you, Tracy, for the mayor's signature.
Okay.
It doesn't change what you're passing here tonight in terms of the paper copy that was handed out.
Do
But
we have to do anything with this amendment here?
no, this is just a
Okay,
formatting issue from Unicode. Just the point of the ordinance is that there was 6 Class B licenses, now there will
Now
only be
there's
2.
two.
But there were only 2 that needed to be issued in the community anyway.
I can add to, Mayor, this is something that came out of the moratorium that was placed on tobacco
Yes.
licenses so that staff could get a better grip on what do we really have. And so things have just changed over time where we no longer have 6 licenses out there that are primarily tobacco. So also this recommendation is not something that staff dreamed up. 2 members of the council came forward and asked that we reduce this while we're at it. If we only have 2, let's reduce it to the 2 that we're at so that in the future we can't just have 4 more unlimited smoke shops.
And I can speak to, at least my, wish on this would be to get it down to 2 because of, it's constantly about trying to clean up our city's kind of, the way that we're viewed in the area, right? Every time I have a conversation, how many smoke shops do you have? How many?
Well, we only
weed
had
shops?
2.
Right. So I think it's important that we cap it at this 2, just so that we can continue to help clean up our city's reputation.
Anybody else? All right, Tracy, please.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Discuss approve ordinance 2884, authorizing the sale of personal property owned by the city of South Beloit. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
And that would be what?
Probably a
I've
couple
read it.
people at this table more excited about this than I am, but this used to be a vehicle that was in our PD, and then it got handed down to Shauna to use for code enforcement purposes. And now that we are doing really well with municipal code and to actually increase that budget for next year, we have this code vehicle that spends more in maintenance to keep it running periodically than we really have a need for. So part of our budget in 2026 will include a small stipend that I'm going to ask the board to consider for Shauna. She uses her own vehicle anyway when she goes to things. No one is starting up the code vehicle that needs to be jumped every time it is in use. So we're proposing that we vet and just kind of get rid of this machine, and rather than budget $20,000 for maintenance next year, maybe budget $1,200 to put in Shauna's vehicle around instead.
Be okay with that?
Keep it up.
Okay. We don't want to force somebody to use their vehicle unless they're okay with it.
Voluntarily.
If the vehicle was in better shape, we probably could pass it around and use it as an admin vehicle, but it's just not in good shape for it. The police department really beat it up.
How many vehicles, you'll be passing one down pretty soon, won't you?
2 this year.
2 this year? Just asking. Just mention it, okay. All right. Tracy, please.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Mayor Fisher?
Yes, discuss approve ordinance 2885, establishing 2026 meeting and holiday schedule. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
I don't think there'll be any arguments about this one. This is, I've already put mine up on the bulletin board, so.
Is Veterans Day not on here?
No,
Why have we chosen to not have Veterans Day on
we didn't choose.
I don't know, I didn't make it out.
there? I guess if nobody's chosen, I guess I'm just asking. How come Veterans? Well, I know that you guys won't, but, I'm just vocalizing it.
My staff will kill me. I will say, for the council's behalf, that 12 paid holidays is pretty good. No one's going to turn down another holiday if it's up for consideration. They'll all kill me later, and Tracy will throw stuff at me. But
I would also note that you would not be able to provide an additional holiday without negotiating and bargaining that with your 2 employee groups that are covered by employee unions. Again, not that they wouldn't accept another paid holiday, but that is something that, legally I would suggest that would be something that you would bargain for in negotiations.
I always thought there should be St. Patrick's Day should have been a holiday too.
Yeah.
And the day
Yeah.
after, right? Super Bowl.
Or date, or election date, yeah. There's nothing, okay. Well, we're gonna stick with this holiday schedule. Tracy?
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve resolution 6648, approving the hotel motel funding grant application to the nature of the confluence in the amount of $15,000. Get a motion, please.
So move.
What'd I do?
I think your 15,000 is right, but Roxanne, the third whereas paragraph says 1,500.
Right.
That's the recommendation that the
Okay,
Hotel
all right, we
Motel
went through this
Review
last.
Committee.
Oh, yeah, right
Alright,
here,
that's
yeah,
all
this
right.
part, yeah, I
That's
understand that.
subject to the requirements and the terms and conditions
Okay.
of the committee review.
Okay.
And we was motioned to make it 15 at that time,
Okay.
the last discussion.
We do have a committee of 3 people, one representative from Cornerstone Credit Union, and then Don and Tracy serve on that, so one of them could give you want to explain?
Sure. We reviewed it. The application looked good. It qualifies for the hotel motel fund. Our recommendation can only be $1,500. That's 10% of the ask. The ask is for $15,000.
The application was fully completed.
Fully completed. Yep.
And this was because they want to hire their part-time to get more work out of them over there, and it's not like they're just gonna, it's for labor costs and other stuff, right?
Do numerous events for us.
Anybody else?
I will also add that this relieves Steve's team.
Yeah.
Already they are kind of spread thin, but it's really nice for them. Could you speak to going there a little bit less to do grounds work since they hired Eli to be there?
Yeah, it's been a lot nicer, and it did free us up to get some electrical work done up there this year, so now we put in 2 outlets up there, for the tree lighting, so now there'll be less extension cords running around for people to trip over while they're out there walking, so. Yep.
Okay, sound good. Tracy, please.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve item, resolution 6650, approving authorizing the mayor to sign a service agreement with Lauterbach and Amen LLP to perform the city's annual audit the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, December 31st, 2026, and December 31st, 2027. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second? Kenny? Okay, this is for 3 years. Is this what they have to do in the contract? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, they can either renew or we can put it back out for bid. We did have a couple of items that we talked a lot about, and we were more than satisfied with their response. There's a couple items that Don always has to try to take a hard stance on, and some of that gets into the weeds of when we have to do certain things for gas or Don saving this up.
Well, we were disappointed in the service that we had this year, mainly because they finished the field work in late May, but we didn't get the report until like October, which is really late. And we kind of put them under a little pressure about that, and they admitted that we didn't have their A team this year, and they assured us that in the future we will have their A team. The other issue, well, there are a couple other issues, one of which is the fee includes a single audit. We will not need the single audit every year. In fact, this year we will not need the single audit. So that cuts the fee down to about $30,000 for this year. On their schedule, that single audit will come out, which is $5,500 for this year. And that's when, if we have a loan, or we get federal funds in a way of a grant of $750,000 or more, then we have to have a single audit. And so, because in this year we don't have that, so we won't have that requirement. Another part that's not on here is the pension funds, and with, now we have an actuarial done. That's a separate process, and we have a 3-year proposal from them. I would probably recommend that we would do the police pension again this year, but not do the fire pension, since one, we had no employees last year and we were 100% funded. So I think there's some benefits in having the police pension fund done. And that's a separate issue, separate contract.
Okay, but this one right here is just our,
The audit.
okay. Anybody else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice.
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman.
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes, discuss approve resolution 6651, appointing land bank board of trustee representative for the administration and operation of a land bank. Get a motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
And that, I see that's Sonia,
It's just a reappointment
Yeah,
of Sonia
just a
to the land
reappointment.
board.
to the land bank. Any discussion?
I can just add that this is a program that has been really beneficial to South Beloit. We don't always have a lot of eligible properties. And Shauna has gone as a proxy for me a time or two just because it's way more for a wheelhouse than mine. But this is a really good board for South Beloit to belong to. And when we have an opportunity to get a foreclosed property or a tax delinquent property into the land bank, it's a really good pool to be in. They have all the right contractors who have vetted all the right processes to get these homes back up into productive use and into the right hands.
Okay, anybody else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice.
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman.
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington.
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes, oh, wait a minute, I gotta get that out of here. Discuss approve resolution 6652, authorizing the city to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the village of Cherry Valley, Illinois for the shared use of equipment. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is Steve, I believe. Hey,
When we had our snowplow rodeo, I had talked to Andy, who I worked with down in Cherry Valley, about possibly borrowing their bucket truck because it has a 62-foot reach versus ours at a 25-foot reach. And he said he would be in agreement with it, so we had Roxanne draft up an agreement for the two cities.
And if I could just chime in, if that's
Sure.
okay. When I drafted the agreement, it was originally limited to the use of the bucket truck, and the Village of Cherry Valley then asked if it would be possible for the agreement to be open to the use of any equipment, that then it could be also a dual use, where Cherry Valley could potentially borrow something from South Beloit, and South Beloit could potentially borrow something from Cherry Valley. And what we found is that there are other entities that have IGAs like this, and it really does help to reduce expenditures for municipalities and kind of share in shared use of equipment. Obviously, one municipality has to be the owner of the equipment and has to insure it, but there maybe isn't a necessity for two communities that are near one another to have two bucket trucks that raise as high as the one that Steve is looking for. And in exchange, the city of South Beloit might have something, whether it's police department equipment or other public works equipment, that the Village of Cherry Valley may need to borrow at some point in time. I think that they have borrowed from communities in the past, scales, and other items that they may have had a use for. So this agreement, as far as I know, would be really one of the first of its kind in our region for the shared use of equipment, but is very successful in other areas throughout the state. The agreement terms require that whomever is borrowing the piece of equipment has the responsibility to maintain it and the responsibility to repair it or replace it if for some reason it breaks. And so that would be, obviously if the bucket truck had some, sort of major collision or something here in South Beloit, Cherry Valley, because they own the bucket truck, they would turn that into their insurance, but South Beloit would partner with ensuring that, an appropriate replacement was obtained.
Is this like having 5 ladder trucks in a matter of a couple miles?
You know, I've used your example on that so many times, Mayor.
Just wondering.
Exactly. You are
I mean, I was
exactly
just
right.
wondering why we got 5 ladder trucks in a matter of a couple miles.
You are exactly right.
I
And
just,
so
it's, to
with-
me, it's an expense that's been,
Yes.
and to upkeep it, it's just, I'm on a different tangent now, but it's just, to
But
me,
it's
it's a,
point well stated, though, Mayor. We need to get to a point with municipalities where we stop buying, 2, 3, 10, 15 of the same thing that isn't used every day. I mean, obviously, for a police department, it would be difficult. We can't share tasers. We can't share, firearms, things of that nature. But what we can share, it's good to try. So.
oh, yeah, well, it's just a step. It's, okay, Don, go ahead.
Just wanted to say, we do have an agreement with the police scales that
Yeah.
we are using between us and Roscoe. So we've already started that process. We talked about it previously on some other equipment.
We also had a speed, electronic camera, didn't you, for speed, didn't you borrow that one time?
Borrowed it for like a week.
Yeah.
We have a survival life house that's owned by,
Uh-huh.
we have a survival life house that's owned by 2 fire departments.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. This is good agreement, because money's gonna get tight, so it's tight a lot of times, and this is a very good agreement, I believe.
Steve, do we have anything that Cherry Valley does, like, what do you foresee Cherry Valley borrowing from us?
From us, possibly, maybe our sweeper, some extra barricades or stuff like that, because they have a Pelican right now, and that's getting up there in years for them, so, if something happened where they would need to use ours or something like that, maybe.
Okay.
Sometimes you just don't know either. The city of Beloit, there was a fire on Yates, what was the tire place? And when that happened, they were calling looking for loaders. And so we didn't have an agreement with them at the time, and we didn't end up needing to lend them, a guy and a driver. But these things happen from time to time, and I think Ipleman, is that right? My IPSI folks? Is it Ipleman? Ipleman has this, but it costs. So this is just a way for neighbors to find out a way to do it without having to pay Ipleman a certain percentage. But there are times when it makes sense, and maybe, Cherry Valley doesn't have a machine per se that they need from us right now. They have a better budget than we do. But you never know when, their street sweeper does die, and now we have a brand new one.
A lot richer people in Cherry Valley.
That's right. But they are good to us,
But
and
they are committed to.
No, I know, I'm just kidding, but it's a good thing.
It would not have happened had they not trusted Steve to drive the machine that he drove there. And I also think that it may not have happened if Jim Clayson and I didn't have an open, dialogue and conversation about, the spirit of this agreement. And so these things are beneficial and good for all.
It's all in goodwill. If it works, when we show that it works, it might be,
And like I say, Andy and I worked together down there. I was there before Andy, and he came in after, and we've always had a good relationship.
oh, good. Anybody else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Arnold?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington? Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve bid letting for a request of proposal for providing strategic planning services for the city of South Beloit. Get a motion, please.
Second.
I can take this one, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
When Beloit 200, Carrie Frank came and she was preparing to do some corridor studies between the Gardner Hotel and Exit 1. This was her ask. Beloit 200 wanted us to have a strategic plan so that some of the concepts and things that they're paying for and pouring into our future right now stay on a shelf. So should this board be completely replaced, should this table be completely replaced, that down the road our city keeps moving in the direction that we're moving in. So she lowered her ask from $30,000 to $10,000, I think, in exchange for us putting out our first RFP and doing our city's first strategic plan. I will warn that this is going to be, very time-consuming, mostly for the people at this table. But now that we're out of Tyler Technologies, for the most part, I think we're ready for our next challenge. So our staff is going to do as much as we can, but this will also require community input and also a lot of input from the council. But we really need.
We should have this anyway. This is something that should have been done a long time ago.
It would be much easier to say, Chief, you're really doing a good job when the work that he's doing aligns with where our city is going.
Good. Anybody else? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve authorization to purchase two 2026 police utility interceptors at a cost of $65,000 each. Motion.
Second.
Chief?
Yeah, this is, our year to purchase two squads. We're in a 2-1 rotation. Last year we got one, this year we got one. Next year we're gonna get two. So Don suggested that we get approval now, so there's a deadline for ordering these
Yeah.
squads. We get into this Suburban Purchasing Cooperative at Curly Motors. We've done business with them in the past. The two combined squads will be $95,196, but then there's gonna be additional costs for equipment and details, stuff like that. So I think today is just for the squads themselves, right? Yeah, just saying.
Okay, anybody else? Tracy, please.
Who made the motion and the second?
I don't know.
I didn't.
And I second it.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, get a motion to go into what?
So
Go.
sorry, I forgot something that we need to get, I meant
Wait.
to have this in between my report and Jeff's. Is it too late to go back? Sorry, Tracy. Commissioner Heatherington asked me to have Brandon give a brief explanation as to one of the repairs that we had on our one-off list. I'm hoping Brandon can do that.
Sure.
Hopefully we had him
Go
do
ahead,
that.
Brandon. Stand up.
So, yeah, the project in question is the Forest Park and Shaw intersection. If you're not aware, that was one of the intersections that we actually resurfaced as part of this year's MFT maintenance project, also in conjunction with the Forest Park Emergency Sewer Project. So, when we did this resurfacing project, this was done under a general maintenance agreement through MFT funding with IDOT. And what we found was that when we established our design parameters, which was establishing a crown on the roadway, which is pretty standard for most roadways, especially under general maintenance where you have curb and gutter on each side of the street. We found out after the fact, after the paving was completed, that the southwest corner of the Forest Park and Shaw intersection was holding water. And so what Fairgrant did is we sent, after we got reports of the standing water there, we went out and did a topographic survey of the intersection, which was not a part of our contract scope. We're limited on our design engineering to a cost of 6% of the overall construction costs. And topographic survey is not typically included in standard MFT maintenance contracts. Now, if you guys are aware, as we do MFT policy dictates that we have to upgrade ADA ramps if we're doing road work adjacent to that. Well, this specific intersection, the ramps had already been upgraded as part of a previous project. So we did not do a topographic survey on this intersection because it wasn't required. And when we established a 2% crown in the roadway, what that did is it now traps water on that corner. So when we did a topographic survey, we found out that an existing intersection does slowly drain across the intersection. One side is about 2 to 3 inches lower than the other side. To the naked eye, when we go through and do just a project walkthrough, it's very difficult to be able to tell where that water is going, 2 to 3 inches of fall. And our survey also showed that that intersection actually has always been a low point in the area. I don't have the survey information with me, but essentially we went back through Google Street View and noticed that there has always been sediment that has built up in that curb line on the ADA ramps, and what we believe is that there was always some sort of drainage issue there, and the deteriorated pavement that was cracked and old was actually allowing a limited amount of infiltration through the curb and gutter cracks or the pavement cracks, and when we establish new asphalt and paving, that basically seals up those joints and does not allow any water to infiltrate, which is how it's supposed to go. So unfortunately, it's a kind of a perfect storm of bad issues or issues coming to light, to where we didn't have full topographic survey and our design, and when we establish parameters for a general maintenance project, which is establish a crown of the roadway and sheet your water off to the curb and gutter, that has kind of exasperated the drainage issue in that corner. So what we did when we sent out our survey crew, we developed what we believed was a cost estimate to complete necessary repairs to take care of that drainage issue. It wasn't something necessarily that we could go back on a contractor on because they followed our plans and specifications. And so we worked with a contractor to get a quote to complete those repairs, and that's where we're at. So, Brian, I completely understand the concern. We understand the concern. We don't love having ponding water in an intersection either. What I would say is really the only way that we believe we could have prevented that is to do full topographic survey on that intersection, because we weren't doing ADA ramp replacements. It was not a part of our contract scope. It was going to be extremely difficult to notice that just to the naked eye. So yeah, we're talking about repairs. I think that the contractor's quote was about $15,000, if I'm not mistaken, $13,000 to $15,000. To do those repairs, and I guess I don't really have an answer for you. It's just, unfortunately, that wasn't a part of our scope to do a survey at that intersection. I'm not really sure how else we would have caught that, to the naked eye.
Yeah, so this is the call around that I completed on some one-off projects. We decided to hold off on the Forest Park and Shaw one until we had an explanation. I think the concern was, it drained before. Is it our responsibility to even do this repair? And so that's what Brandon is commenting on, is that it did always drain, probably because of poor pavement conditions. And unfortunately, this is just, it's our infrastructure and probably not Fairgrounds' fault on this one, but we did hold off on that repair at this time.
Well, you wouldn't want the water running across the road anyway, because in the wintertime, wouldn't it freeze?
That's the way it goes. There's no storm drain there.
Yeah, this entire subdivision has.
That's intentionally.
That's the way it drains.
Yeah, it has zero storm sewer. Traditionally for IDOT standards, you're not supposed to drain water that far over land and in curb and gutter. Actually, the standard is to have inlets every 250 feet. That entire subdivision has nothing. It currently drains actually through private property on the south, or the northeast corner of the subdivision. It drains into those dead-end stub roads and just kind of meanders out into people's property. And there's really no good drainage system. And yes, there are a series of intersections that are extremely low flow, low velocity drainage systems. For instance, you've seen the curb and gutter that goes across some of those streets, which is not typical in a street. But
right.
There are low flow channels that carry the water across. That is because it is extremely minimal elevation changes. So they put that concrete in there. That way, if the water does sit in the concrete, that will hold up a little bit better. This intersection never had those concrete flumes. So again, when we put a...
How does that happen? How does that happen when in these new subdivisions? Yeah. Is that... I'm just asking, is it our fault that when we didn't...
That's past the policy decisions, right? When those roads were built, I'm assuming, downtown near the Hayes area, those roads have been in place for 60, 70 years probably, if not more. And they've just been kind of improved over time, and there's never been a full drainage analysis done on that subdivision. That would be, in a perfect world, yes, we would have curb and gutter, storm sewer, inlets that all lead to the Rock River drain. But that's just nothing, obviously to convert that subdivision to storm sewer and storm sewer system, you're talking millions and millions of dollars to do. So we rely on overland flow, surface water flow to get it to the correct point, and there's not a lot of elevation change there. So there are numerous locations along that subdivision where water holds in the curb line.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about when the developer comes in.
It's a standard now. Our city ordinances have adopted that storm sewer, curb and gutter, sidewalks are a standard for all new subdivisions.
Right, so that we don't have that problem.
Exactly.
We don't want to leave a trap for the future.
Our ordinance doesn't even allow rural subdivisions, which is ditch systems.
Okay.
All new subdivisions coming in have to have storm sewer. That's a standard.
All right. Okay. What is this?
So just to bring us home, we had $160,000 this year in capital infrastructure improvements. Primarily, it was gonna get the 3 critical inlet areas done that we could not handle in-house. One was on South Adams, that it was like 4 inlets and crossing, ADA crossing. Then one was at Olson Sign on Wheeler, and one was at Park because of Mid-States. So we covered those 3 with about $110,000, and just as I mentioned in the call around, we were trying to get all 3 of these other one-off projects done as well. So we're gonna get the Villas of Oakfield done, that'll be on the next agenda as a retro approval, and then Smith Lane Seepers, we're gonna get those done, and then this was the last project on that list at Forest Park and Shaw, but at this time we will wait to kind of get, thoughts following this explanation, if we wanna go down that road or not.
When they'll bring it back to us sometime.
Yep. If you guys need to remind, I'll put that one on the next one too, but I didn't want to do that without a full explanation of what happened at that intersection. But the truth is, it's our infrastructure, and we don't want to let it sit for too long.
Anybody else? All right, now we'll try this again. Let's convene this session and go into executive session at 6:02. Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Going into executive session, 6:02.